Hey Dom, this is Dave Desai. Welcome back to my channel. Today I want to get into Jungkook and people believing or encouraging him to refuse Korean shows with a specific idol. Don't worry, I'll be saying who it is and what happened with this. The tea. Joking aside, just a disclaimer, do not send hate to anyone. The reason I'm speaking openly about this is because this information has been made very public already. I also wanted to get into BigHit stock dropping due to a member and why people are saying this. So grab your dumpling, a tea spilling mug merch, and let's get into the tea. If you're new here and you're interested in this type of stuff, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell to be notified anytime a new video drops. And if you're a hater, like to be first, leave your hate comment. Please make sure you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell also so you can be first to do so. Now let's jump into it. The first thing I want to talk about today is Jungkook. I've mentioned this story briefly before, but I kind of just grazed over it and spoke very whatever about it. But a lot of people were confused as to the whole story and the whole situation, so let me give some backstory here. BTS, in my opinion, created their own TV show and reality show like Run BTS, Bon Voyage, and In the Soup, which I react to on my Patreon, by the way, if you want to support this channel and also watch it with me. But I believe they created those shows simply to get away from the Korean media. There's a lot of restrictions in Korean media that they have to follow. Some things like daytime television cannot have tattoos publicly seen. Jungkook does hide his tattoos in Run BTS, but only when there is a Korean sponsor on that video. But TV shows and talk shows often have like 30 sponsors and several brands trying to put their ads on the show. So there's a lot more restrictions, and one of the reasons TV shows even in America can't curse and things like that. But on the shows that they are not being financially compensated by anyone except themselves, they can do whatever they want. There's a lot more freedom there, and we have seen Jungkook's tattoos on specific episodes. Now, another reason, and the more likely reason in my opinion, is just how they were allegedly treated on these shows and how they might have felt. We don't know how they actually felt, but we can infer from what we see. I'm sure there is so many idols that want to not go on specific shows because they ask dumb questions or the host is rude or whatever. Especially if you're a nobody group in the beginning, these shows don't care about you at all. Also, if you're younger than everyone, they really don't care. This was evident in the previous show Jungkook was on. Jungkook was on a show called Flower Crew, and this was just Jungkook. The other members were not a part of this, and I think he was 19, 20 at the time. A lot of these variety shows would have the members appear on the show as individuals rather than as a group. I'm not sure why, maybe lack of seating, but this could also be a factor as to why BTS doesn't want to do too much of them anymore. But Jungkook on his show Flower Crew was a show that was very difficult for a lot of armies to watch. The premise of this show is that these people go on a 3-day adventure, and then their actions and what they're allowed to do is determined by the audience. Very interactive show. It's a live stream, so it's not pre-recorded, so that is how they have an audience giving them things to do. There was one episode where Jungkook was late to set or to meet them, and I believe he was late because he stopped to pick up hamburgers, which is nice because he wanted to surprise them and give a gift. Especially being the youngest person in a group in Korea, you definitely want to be overly nice. When Jungkook arrived late, one of the members on the show named Seho, he is a famous comedian and he does a lot of hosting even now. Cho demanded that Jungkook be punished for being late. And I believe the other members were like, no, it's okay, whatever. But he apparently insisted, and then Jungkook offered the hamburger to him to be like, look, this is why I was late. I wanted to pick something up for you. Cho continued to ridicule the hamburger, saying they looked like leftovers, and told Jungkook that none of them wanted the burgers. Of course, even if the other members wanted to accept the burgers, I believe that Cho Seho was the most famous person there at the time, and so if you had to choose who to listen to, you'd probably choose him. And so they ended up having Jungkook sit on a bench away from the members of the show, and you can visibly tell that Jungkook was upset. Of course, the audience was very upset by this. When something like this happens and Jungkook wasn't late on purpose, it was an accident, and he even bought food for them. And BTS was just starting out at the time. He didn't really have much money. Cho Seho allegedly also said that since Jungkook is younger, they don't have to be careful with their demands or anything like that. I say allegedly with all of this because it's translated from Korean. Also, things like cultural differences take into place whether those comments were actually rude or not. But armies had considered this very rude and were upset. They demanded an apology. He did address this. He made an apology to say he was trying to get to know them all and was sorry if he made anyone feel uncomfortable. It was a good apology, I think. Jungkook never publicly said if he accepted the apology or not, which of course made armies believe that he probably didn't accept it. When BTS finally started doing Korean TV shows again, one of the first ones they went on to kind of talk about their career was one called You Quiz on the Block. This, I believe, was episode 99, and they talked very openly about a lot of stuff. Before the show even aired, armies knew that Choseo was one of the hosts of the show and was furious that BTS and specifically Jungkook was going back on the show and meeting each other. It of course has been many years, and I do believe Jungkook has let it go. But if someone treats treats you like that, you let it go, but you don't get too close to that. And Jungkook was there to work. He wasn't there to make friends. People believe that Jungkook should have refused that show and any show that Seho was in just because they don't want Jungkook in that environment. But I don't see Jungkook as someone who holds these grudges. And anywhere in Korea BTS goes now, they get respect. I don't see that Jungkook is someone who is still mad at that. I don't think they're best friends, but not everyone has to be. They can just be colleagues. And while Jungkook has moved on because he's done bigger things, I do think it was probably very difficult for Seho to move on because all his comments are probably still referring to that moment, while Jungkook doesn't really hear too much about it anymore. Probably. The episode You Quiz was great. I don't have any complaints about that. Jungkook is not mad, so please stop sending Seho hate. It is what it is. People make mistakes and he has probably learned not to be a jerk anymore. I love BTS and their mindset. If Jungkook was still mad, he would not appear on the show and give Seho the ratings. But they are good. BTS appears in a lot of TV shows and award shows lately, and I like that. Recently, Jin was on an award show and he spoke about chart manipulation. He said it in a very classy way, and BTS never addresses things directly and flat out says it because it's harsh, and the way they say things, especially Jin, is if you know what this is about, you'd catch what he is saying. But if you don't, it doesn't seem weird and you won't think anything is wrong. It's very classy. Jin basically says he hopes people will make music in a more lawful way going forward, and kind of saying that's what they try to do. There were a lot of claims of chart manipulation at the time, so this addressed that, saying BTS does create music in a way that is real. What had followed after this comment Jin made was allegedly an employee wrote about how basically BTS didn't get there lawfully. There's probably no way to confirm if it was an employee or a hater pretending to be, or maybe even just a disgruntled employee that was mad at something or got fired or whatever. Now this is what I am seeing from other videos and news sites. I don't know the timeline of this and which was first. But apparently after RM posted a photo saying that he loves BigHit, of course given everything, people took this as RM kind of addressing everything in a more subtle way, or at least I believe. Some people think it wasn't him addressing it and they kind of hoped he didn't know this was going on. But keep in mind, if you're reading about something on the news or whatever, everyone around you is talking about it and the incident has become very loud for you. Disclaimer, this is just generally speaking, not necessarily related to this RM photo. But this is why I believe it might have been RM addressing it. Because if it's loud for you, it then becomes unbearably loud for the artist involved. You're hearing what the public is saying and maybe your friends. That's it. The artist hears all that too, and conversation of this within the label, several meetings about this, all their artist friends talking about this, their managers trying to figure out what to do, PR meetings about this, people getting fired, new people getting hired to fix this, them talking to press, being harassed by press, sponsors, possible drop in sales if this is like that big of a controversy. And that's even before they even turn on their phone to go on social media to hear about your and my opinions. Just keep that in mind. When you hear about something from an artist, it means it was very loud for them already, and they know. People are saying this particular incident was RM trying to save BigHit stock. Again, addressing it in a way that people who know, people who don't, and it doesn't make the issue bigger. Also, so the stock doesn't drop because allegedly the investors were frustrated. The stock is doing fine and the investors are not frustrated. There's been investors that have stuck with BTS since they have gone public and allowed investors to invest. There's a baseline of sales that BTS gets with every launch, and even in controversy, BTS still sells and break records. You'd be dumb to leave BigHit stock. This is not financial advice. I am not saying to invest or to not invest, but I think they're a good company and they have hardworking artists. Again, I am not a stock person. I am just a fanboy. So don't take that as, oh my God, I need to invest all my money. Let me know what you think. Let me know what your thoughts are. Leave it in the comment section down below. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'm featuring this comment right here. Thank you so much for your comments. And as always, I do have a Patreon if you want to go over there and check that out. I have a lot of videos over there that I can't really post on here. This is due to copyright or getting taken down, so I do keep it over there on my Patreon. You can get videos over there like music video reactions, performance reactions, ship reactions. You can also recommend things you would like to see over there. Currently, we have over 400 videos that are already up on there. The moment you sign up, you will be able to see. We have a great time interacting with each other over there as well. So if you're interested in any of that, link is in the top description down below. There's also a video over there that kind of goes over how you can support this channel even more if you would like to do that. That video's on the front page and it's free to watch. With that said, there's two videos that will appear up on screen at the end of this video, so click on one of those and I'll see you over there. Bye.